Right, everyone, welcome to this. This is the second part 2 of the oldest ninjutsu in the world. Now, if you've just come across this, of course, go and watch part 1. But also, this is in connection with a video by Stephen Nojiri, and I shall be putting the link down below. So if you want to watch his video on it, and I will be referencing his video, it's down below. But everything you need is here. But of course, do go over to Stephen's and have a go there. Okay, quick roundup. Last time we got to the conclusion that the oldest form of ninjutsu you can find in the world comes from the Hattori clan, or the oldest form of recorded ninjutsu comes from the Hattori clan in Iga, or from, an Iga tradition. Doesn't necessarily have to be in Iga. Remember, Iga Mono and Kokomono, and everybody says this across the board, put out there across the world. They're hired across all of Japan as the greatest ninja that there was, and nobody ever disputes that fact. Not in history, even other ninja schools don't dispute that. They say yes, Iga and Koka are considered great, and they are hired around the world. This is said multiple times. So even if the Iga tradition is not focused in Iga, then we still have to say it's still from an Iga lineage. So this is where the crux of the argument changes. This is why this is part 2. So part 1 is recorded history. Part 2 is prehistory of the ninja, if you like. So first of all, let's go through those terms just so everybody's up to date. So remember, in the world of history, you have history and prehistory. History are those things recorded by written notes. So there's writing about it. It's considered history. If there is no writing, but we have still artifacts left, or the ground left, or an old castle left, or the fortress left, or a skeleton left, that's prehistory. So we have a time when there was writing and the time when there was no writing. So of course, you should understand that prehistory is massive compared to history. I'm talking like 99.9% of it is prehistory, and the very, very small percentage is history. But of course, we only have written documents to study of the last, say, certain amount of 1,000 years, and that's what is world history. But it depends where you are. So you have to remember this key concept is history comes after prehistory. Now, what does that mean for the ninja? So it isn't a case of nothing existed and then history happened and, the first written records go down and that's it. Life is invented. Here we go. There's just one person writes on a page and that's it, invents the world and we go. Obviously, that's not true. There is prehistory. So things that build up to that. So, for example, if you have the word sun, like in the sky, the sun obviously existed for billions of years, but the word for sun is only relatively new. Same as person, the word for person is relatively new compared to how long people have been walking on the planet. So, what does this have to do with ninjutsu? Lots, well, what does this have to do with ninjutsu, I hear you say? Lots, I say to you. Because you have ninja, you have 3 phases of ninja. You've got ninja history, that which is recorded. You've got ninja prehistory, that which is not recorded, there's nothing about it. And then there's a middle phase of, is it ninja history, is it not? And I'll go into that in a moment. So, basically, what do we have? Let's imagine, I want to give you something to imagine, and this should explain those 3 sections. So, imagine it's snowing, and you're in a nice street somewhere, and there's those wire fences that they have in America. We don't really have them here, but you have those tornado fences in America with the diamond mesh. So let's imagine one of those, and there's a kid on the street, or let's just call it Anthony is on the street. He's a young boy, and he's compacting snow into a snowball. This is identifiable. I throw the snowball as hard as I can at the fence. Once it hits the fence, it breaks up into many, many pieces. Now it's not fully identifiable, but I know it's still there. Then the pieces disintegrate into nothingness and it's gone. This is what it's like with history, but reverse. We have the solid form, which is the latest time. We've got all the writings. We've got, Isui Sensei says this, Fujibayashi Sensei says this. In the Edo period, we've got tons and tons of writing. We then throw the snowball at the fence where it disintegrates. And that fence is either Hattori Hanzo's Shinobi Hiden. Whether it's the real Hattori Hanzo or not, we don't know, but the date is there. We see part 1. And then, or also the Ogasawara record in the Gunpo Gyoshu of Hattori lineages there from Iga. So that fence is the moment, that book, that date is the moment it smashes through the fence and goes into a million pieces. Because when we go beyond Hattori Hanzo's Nippiden, Shinobi Hiden, or we go beyond the Gunpo Gyoshu, there's nothing physical. There's only little bits of the snowball to pick up. They're there, so we can identify them and say, here they are, but they're all over the place, okay? So stay with me here with the snowball reference. But then before them, after them, there's nothing. We run out of history. So we're looking with the snowball at the most recent history, all the books on ninja, everything we've got. We've got all this, information I've been doing, information other people doing. We throw the snowball back to that one fence, which is the last time we see, or the earliest time we see an identifiable shape of ninjutsu, and then it bursts into lots of avenues. So this is what Stephen Ojiri is talking about in his video. He does, unfortunately, go off on a tangent. So we're talking about the history of Shinobi and he's gone left like that. So I'm going to try and bring it back and go straight on. Of course, you'll understand when you watch his video. So what we have beyond this fence before Ninja Prehistory, but inside of the written history there where it's bits and bats, we have lots of references to possible ninja or even to ninja. But the Shinobi Hiden or the Gunpo Joshi is the first time we get a curriculum identifiable as ninjutsu, as shinobi no jutsu, as the arts of the saboteur, the arts of the spy come together there. So what do we have before that? What am I talking about with all these bits all over the place? So what we have is Stephen is talking about a set of scrolls called the Taiheki Chronicles, basically. And there are multiple versions of the Taiheki Chronicles. Many are transcribed from each other. There are then ones that talk against the official Taiheki. There are then ones that predate the Taiheki. There are lots of these things. Now, Stephen Ojiri has done some great work on going through these. And we're not talking about the English translations. He's gone and got them from Japan. Sometimes he's bought them physically, copies. Other times he's got them digitally. And he goes through. And some of them have 2,000 pages in. And Stephen, day by day, is going through them and finding the references to shinobi. Lots of variations on the word shinobi. So here we have all these pieces scattered. So let's imagine the snowball that's broken up is Stephen Ojiri sat at his desk, going through all the different things from the 13, 14 and 1500s, okay? That time. And he's got all these little bits of information. And sometimes it says shinobi and he's looking and he says, does that mean hidden? Like, me and him were talking the other day and one of them was hidden places. So it's like, it's not shinobi, it's people went to hidden places. They hid out of the way. So, okay, that one's not shinobi. It's not part of the shinobi history. But another one, which obviously I'm not going to tell you, but we've found is shinobi and shinobi, which is clearly shinobi. This is a person doing something which is got the word shinobi in it and is clearly clandestine, sabotage, spying, things like that. And we've got that identified. So here you go. We've got the breakup and one of them, that's definitely a history of ninja. So now we're into that, not prehistory, not full history, but we're in this proto-history of the ninja where it's developing and we start to get a picture. So bit by bit, Stephen Ojiri is going through them all, ting, 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 ting. And what he's doing is rub away, get rid. And he's left with this picture from the 13, 14 and 1500s of ninja or shinobi history that we've got. Yeah, sorry, not inverted, in actual shinobi history. Here's the history of the shinobi. Like, let's do the snowball in reverse. It pulls itself off the snow. All the little bits form, and then it forms itself into Shinobi Hiden. Boom! There you go. Or Gunpo Gyoshu. Boom! And then it goes massive in the Edo period as a big snowball of all the Shoninki, Bansen, Shukai, all those come together. That's the way you should see it. That's how it comes. The problem is that moment in 1560, 1570 is where you say, that is the oldest recorded curriculum form of ninjutsu in the world. But it's not the first. That's like saying, I wrote the word sun and the sun appeared in the sky. I wrote the word people and I populated the planet with people. It's ridiculous. It doesn't work. So just because it's the first identifiable one doesn't make it the oldest. We now have to go into prehistory. So we've gone into this, but there's another stage, because that's just looking for the word shinobi. But then you get what you've got to remember is words change their meanings over time. So Igamono itself changes its meaning. Igamono, being man of Iga, starts as man of Iga. It then goes on to mean shinobi, and it then goes on to mean palace guard, nothing more. And you get people not from Iga being Igamono because of a certain thing they're allowed to do inside of palaces that other people are not. So to get around this system, they say, oh, let's just call him an Igamono and he can do that. And that actually, I can't remember if I published this or not yet, but basically that's in the Igamono research at the moment. You get the changes. So if you use the word Igamono in the 13, 14, early 1500s, there is no evidence whatsoever to say that's a ninja. But once you hit the late 1500s, early 1600s, it's a ninja. But once you get to like 1850s, it's palace guard. What do you want? So the dog has arrived. Come here, Geiger. Come and say hello to her. Oh, no, she's lying down. Saying hello to everyone. Right. So that's where we're at. So what we've got is before that, before the shinobi, what about the other words that have different meanings or that become to mean it? What about kanja? Everybody out there, in like my viewers, knows the word kanja. You know, okay, but is that part of Shinobi history? So now Stephen's got to now go through it all again. Obviously he does it at the same time, but my point is in this sort of enactment for you, he goes through it and picks out kanja. Bing! So we've got all the ones that are definitely infiltrator shinobi as people. We've got all the ones that are kanja. But Bansen Shukai tells you, oh, there's this word, there's that word, this word. And other manuals say this word, that word. So then you go through again. Ping, 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 ping. So let's go through it. We've got the snowball at the top, the Edo period. The much smaller snowball, which is the Shinobi Hiden. You got the fence where it all breaks up. And then when it breaks up, just if you got a microscope in, there's lots of different bits that possibly could form a history of the ninja. This we would call proto-ninja. These are pre-ninja, meaning it's not an official position, it's not a rank, but it's clearly a term used to mean someone doing something. So it might be the case that Bob, we like Bob. Oh no, didn't we kill all his family last time? I can't remember. But Bob is hanging around, and Bob's pretty good at languages. So his master comes up to him and says, would you go over there and listen and learn that dialect for me and tell me the bits that it means? So Bob goes over to North or wherever he goes, learns some dialect, come back and says that. Is he a ninja? But he went in disguise and he learnt some linguistic and he wrote it down. He made a map of the castle while he was there. But that's not his job. His job is maybe in the vanguard when they go to war. But, sorry, the dog. His job is the vanguard going to war. But on the downtime, somebody gave him a job because he's good at languages. So is that the beginning of ninja? Is that proto-ninja? Is that ninja? Is it just temporary ninja? So what Stephen Najiri is saying, or what we're trying to say between us, is that from the ground up, even before that, you get into China then. So you move to China. So the 5 Chinese spies are there, the Chinese classics are there, and they underlie everything. They're like the snow at the bottom, that holds up Japan, and you can pick up bits from it. But if I go to the ancient Chinese classics, let's say Sun Tzu's Art of War in Japan, before the history of the ninja, and I go in and pick up a spy, the 5 spies, did they, let's just call it's the 1100s, and someone's reading, so probably not historically accurate, but let's say Yoshitsune is reading The Art of War, say, and he says, 5 types of spy, let's use that. And he sends one of them as a spy. Is that a ninja? The word ninja is never used. There's no curriculum. There's nothing there, except Yoshitsune may have read The Art of War and says, oh, look, or Kusunoki, who's meant to have read The Art of War, says, I'm going to use the 5 spy system. So as you see, what we're trying to put together is there's a prehistory of ninja in ancient China before anybody's, obviously it's still within written times, but we're saying before 1570, there's almost this dilution of history. And really later on, like in the 1200s, there's almost nothing. It's a prehistory of the ninja, if you like. It's ninja prehistory. So we get this prehistory that forms into the basics of history, which forms up into true history of the ninja. So what we're trying to say, guys, is that if you follow it back to here, Shinobi Hiden, or the Gunpo Joshu, represents the oldest form of historically identifiable ninjutsu put into a single curriculum in a manual that calls itself ninjutsu, or shinobi no jutsu, you know, the characters shinobi and jutsu, before we go into this cloud of uncertainty where things are definitely there. Shapes of the shinobi, good title, Shapes of the Shinobi are definitely there, but there's no concrete silhouette. We can't see them fully. Okay, guys? So I hope that helps out. Basically, I got an erratic phone call from Stephen. You were saying that Iga is the oldest ninja, and he sent me a picture of him with a gun shooting at me, and he had like my dog, and he was like had a picture of his gun to the dog. I'll kill your dog if you don't do it. I was like, all right, Stephen, I'll make another video. So he made a video, went totally off topic. So, but you know, do watch his video. Click the link below. Do watch his video, and you'll sort of get to grips with what he's saying. But he's gone off, as I say, left into is Iga Ryu. So, and in fact, let me just comment on that. Basically, not giving away too much of Stephen's research, Iga may not be the beginning of all ninjutsu, basically. There may be other things, is what he's saying. There's other places, which he does say in his video, that he's found ninjutsu or proto-ninjutsu arrives before Iga. But yet we don't know when it came to Iga, how it came to Iga. Did it come up separately inside of Iga and Koka? Was it brought? Did it go all over Japan? Boom, 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 ninjutsu. And then Iga and Koka the best? Did it go boom in one place, come to Iga and Koka and go the best? We just don't know. This idea that Iga is the beginning of all ninjutsu is actually put out by Iga tourist advisors. Basically, it's a 20th century thing. There are most references to Iga say they're just great at it. They are pretty much the cool guys. And sometimes Iga manuals say, we invented it because we're cool. Do you know what I mean? Which they do. You know, obviously, we'll take credit for that. But many of them say this is from ancient China, or they say, you know, we got this from such and such a person who was in such and such a place. I think one of the Koka manuals says it was from a Kyoto guard. So one of the guards at the court gave it to someone who gave it to Iga. So, and then Koka. And he literally, in their own traditions, says, we didn't invent it. Somebody else did it. In fact, there's very few references where it says Iga absolutely invented this. It says it comes from here, goes to here, and flourishes in Iga. Okay? So, when you leave this video, leave with the fact that the oldest recorded identifiable tradition is either Shinobi Hiden. It is being contested, but come on, people. If you contest it, put your money where your mouth is and tell us why it's contested. What we need to do is go to Japan, get a really high level or high ranking sort of person on grammar from across the ages. That's what I would like to do. I need the money to go and pay someone and say, please read the Nimpiden. Does it have out of place grammar in it or not? You can't identify the paper because it's a transcription. So let's look at the grammar, or can you see where it's been edited, etc., etc. And I would like to go and search all the names in the Shinobi Hiden and find where they're from, backtrack it all and get the history. We just don't know. It's always assumed Hattori Hanzo is the Hattori Hanzo, but there are multiple Hattori clans, and Hanzo often means like the head of it. So it could just mean head of the Hattori clan of such another place. Might not even be the Hattori Hanzo or that line. But the point is that, you know, that's who it's assumed it is, but we've still got research to do, and research costs money, and flying out to Japan and getting translators involved and all that. So anyway, right, I'll leave it there, guys. That's another cool 20 minutes of the oldest ninjutsu in the world. So I hope that makes sense. Stephen, please give me my dog back, because there was only one here today. He's captured the other one, and he's holding it for ransom. So I make sure you guys know that Iga did not invent ninjutsu. It's possibly before Iga, but that it does end up in Iga. All right, guys. See you later.